I love Family Guy.
You like Family Guy? You know Herbert? You
Oh
like Herbert?
goodness.
Hey, little fella, why don't you come on down here?
That's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty decent.
Yeah, well, I use him sometimes. Of course, my wife, she doesn't want me to do that during Halloween with the kids around and all that. You don't understand it. So
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius.
And welcome to the Tiberius Show today, and I'm your host, Tiberius Boy. And as always, we're looking at various jobs and how they affect the world around us. Today's is going to be very interesting. We're going to talk to a radio station manager. Now, do you know what really that job entails? I mean, I might have an idea. You know what? Let's just talk to this guy and find out. Let me introduce our next guest, the one, the only, the amazing Norbert Miles.
got the audience in there. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Fair, partly cloudy.
Well, thank you for being on the show today. But you are listed as a radio station manager. So can you explain to us exactly what does that mean?
Well, managing a radio station and sometimes an owner as well. There's a lot involved on the radio. I take care of all the responsibilities as far as programming, scheduling, advertising, marketing, as far as the technical aspect, IP. And I am the IT guy. I also set up the website. All the shows that we produce, it's 6 in the morning daily, Monday to Friday, with the exception of Saturday at 9 a.m. Mountain Times. We put the shows online for a podcast for a week, for people can listen to the shows that we have. There's different genres of shows. I can go over that if you want me to. Which is rock on Mondays, Tuesdays, contemporary music, dance, whatever. Wednesdays, we have a country show, brand new country music. Thursdays, we have 50 to 70s, classic 70s and 90s on Friday. And then we have different personalities for each of the shows. And Saturdays, we, like today, we did it's called the Cheesy Show, where we get the bubblegum music of the past that we bring to life. So we say we supply the music and you supply the memories. So there's so much going on with our station.
Okay, so what got you interested in working in the field of radio?
Well, actually, my brother, years ago, he's about 7 years older than I am, and he must have been 19, 20 at the time. I must have been 14, 15. He took me to a radio station, and it was very interesting. Back then, there were no computers. It was all live, so they actually earned their paycheck, because you only have a 2 or 3 minute song before you put another record on there, cue it, and get the commercials ready on carts. And you have to follow the schedules. And also you have to take phone calls for requests. And so it was, never nonstop. And 24-hour station meant 24 hours. There's always someone had to be there. There was no computerization. There was no automation. You actually had a human body there doing graveyards from midnight to 6 in the morning. So back then, radio makes you wonder how radio ever got evolved and still today. But now with the advent of technology, it's gotten more diverse, where people can actually listen to so many different types of stations online. And the great thing about it is not government regulated. How about that?
Now, your station is a mix of talk radio and music, but why did you decide to have variety instead of just picking one theme?
Okay, that's a good question. For one thing, if you're a terrestrial radio station, the transmitter only goes around wherever your listeners can pick it up. However, if you're online, our signal goes around the world. So what that means is that there's so many different walks of life, so many different people that have different tastes of music, and we supply that of all genres, of all variety. If you ever listen to the station on air on live radio, You would listen to all different. You might hear a rock song, a country song. They're all mixed in. So it brings a different genre. It's like tuning one radio and you get tired of one station, you tune to another format, but we do it for you. The formats change automatically, but the genres for the shows daily are in there for particular genres, plus we also support independent artists, musicians. Other stations may not do that because they're more into the popular rock artists, country artists, and all that. But we anybody that sends us our music, a musician, will be happy to put their music on there. But it stays in the playlist. It's not like they'll be played and then it's forgotten. Music will be played on the playlist, and then if we choose that artist for that format, we'll email them. We have a form we send out, and we'll email them, and we'll let them know when they can hear their music, and they can also hear it again on the podcast that same day in the evening, and it stays there for a whole week before that next week the podcast is recycled to another show.
So now, Norbert, now you air my show. Now, what elements about my show made you decide that your station wanted to pick it up?
I like your versatility, your compassion, your dedication, your energy was a good factor too. So I like the way you make your delivery, the way you talk to your guests, and it's wild. Every show's not the same. You have so many different types of guests on your show, and anything goes practically. But I like the way you handle yourself and delivery. Very professional, considering, when you start, what were you, like 11 or
7.
when you were 10 or 11? 7. See, 7 years old. So, and if you continue that, you have that drive, you can curtail it and make it a lot more fruitful, more benefit for yourself. So I like the way you handle yourself.
So why did you select to run a web-based station instead of a terrestrial one?
Okay, one big reason is FCC. FCC does not regulate online radio. It's classified as freedom of speech, and they cannot censor. And there's one thing, I don't know if you know this, but radio, TV is the only medium that if it goes on radio waves, FCC owns the radio waves, so they can sanction you if you do a profanity or if there's a question or if a listener writes to them, they'll investigate, and you're looking at about a $10,000 forfeiture per occurrence, and it's a long, drawn-out process, and your license may be in jeopardy. Depends on the severity of the violation, and I don't need all that with the FCC. So that's why online radio doesn't fall in that category. FCC doesn't touch it. It's not in their jurisdiction. I don't condone any profanity to my station. I mean, I do have certain morals and ethics, but it's just there that there's no problem with the language barrier. It's freedom of speech.
Huh. So now, what is the hardest part about running a radio station?
Ooh, getting the affiliations to send me. I like to work things on schedule, but I've got affiliations like yourself. Your dad says the show's on time. Sometimes I might miss one because I don't know if I didn't get it or what. But I like to get all the shows on time for the next airing, and that way I can put it in the system. And the system, once it's in the system, will automatically air it at its predetermined time that it's programmed for. But trying to get everybody together. But I understand we're all human. Sometimes my affiliates, they go on vacations, so they'll send me an alternative broadcast to fill in until they get back, and they'll send me the current ones. But keeping everybody in tune, sometimes it's hard to do that because sometimes they will not be able to send me a current show.
So now, what's the most fun show that you've put on the air?
Well, that depends on the rundowns. We have me every day in the morning. I get up at like 1 in the morning every day. I've been doing this for like over 30 years and dedicated to it. I get the rundowns. I look over the scripts of the rundowns, and we look at what the topics. There's different topics in politics. We don't pick sides of politics. We only make fun of them. There's a big difference. So we like to make fun of whatever politics is in the news at the time. Sports, make fun of that. And celebrities, or if somebody makes a goof or something like that, we'll pick it up. So we like to talk about so many different things. about different people, and it's very humorous though. It's very humorous, and we ad lib a lot of stuff. That we read the rundowns. So I get the rundowns about in the mornings when I roll in around 2:30, and I print them out and start scribbling which ones we're going to talk about and so forth. And it depends on who my co-host is. So we just depend how we're going to carry out the show. Sometimes I get a brain brain, when you find something like I see something in there, I'll go in my research and find something that will relate to it that I can go ahead and add to that story, which is always humorous.
Well, here seems like a good time to take a quick commercial break. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
So you want to make an ad for your company, right?
Yeah, Tiberius, you want to help me?
Okay, so what's the name of the company?
PPWND.
PP what?
Professional Pressure Washing and Detailing.
So you like clean driveways?
Yeah, like that. We pressure wash commercial buildings and semi-truck and trailers.
So how would someone get a hold of you?
They can visit my site at ppwnd.com or call me at 407-900-7793.
So I just tell them to call you at 407-900-7793 or visit ppwnd.com?
Yeah, Tiberius, you got it.
Cut, that's a wrap. Just use that.
Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
And we're back here talking with Norbert Miles, station manager for KINT 98 in El Paso, Texas. So
Right.
Norbert, I see that you also have a podcast section in your website. Do you air all your podcasts on the station as well?
Yes, well, the ones that we own, that we produce in the mornings at 6 a.m. Mountain Time, those are the ones that are recorded and they're put on the podcast. But the other affiliations, when they come down, they're aired according on the time schedule that's on our program guide, and those are aired at that time. But as far as podcasts, we podcast our own shows Monday through Saturday.
So when things break over here, my dad has to fix things and get it back up and running. What happens when things break at a radio station?
Oh, well, we do have backups. But sometimes, it takes a while for you get the backup, you got to move it over to the other computer. But, we do have our share, especially when we get brownouts. Sometimes a power surge might affect a computer or a monitor. That we've had our share of that. And to get the system back up and operating, it happens. So, we're only human, but then things do break down. Thunderstorms come or something happens, power glitches. We do have our share where power can go down for unlengthy amount of time. So nothing you can do about it.
So how many computers do you use to run your radio station?
I'd say about 7. We have 2 automation ones. I have 2 in production. There's 2 of them. One is for the affiliates where we download all the shows, such as yourselves. And then the top one is we have 4 servers hooked up. So all the music that's held on those servers, they're like, I think they're 8 to 10 gig servers each. So I got massive amount of storage. All the music that's stored in there is on those servers of all different formats, because you got to realize that we have all different rock, the contemporary, the country, the classics, the oldie, whatever. But we have massive amount of storage in those servers and still growing. So if we ever run out, there's plenty more storage we can get.
Yeah, I remember I almost cried because I saw that they were Dells. So I'm like, ugh. You know the old IT saying, Dell is from hell. So, I mean, it's a bit no. But how long does it take to design and build a good radio show?
Well, a radio show or the computer system?
The radio show.
Okay, a radio show, it takes about 6 hours for me to get everything prepped up. Like I said, I get up at 1 in the morning, and then I start going over the rundowns, and time is going by, I have to do a newscast comes down. We have a lady named Rosie Richards, does an hourly newscast. Well, top of the hour newscast for about 5 minutes or less of whatever the latest thing is going on. And then if there's any advertisers, it goes on that newscast. People can listen to it every hour if it comes up. And then at the end of the next day, a new sponsor will come in and replace it. But there's always a newscast every hour on the hour for that. But it takes about 6 hours for me. But I try to get ahead of time. Let's say for a Monday show, probably on Sunday, I'll start to get all the music and everything ready to go as much as I can for Monday. And if I got most of it, I don't have too much to do on Monday morning when I can just go ahead and pull some of the songs there. Because I get some music from artists that are sending me their music. So I got to do a lot of shuffling around because I promise they'll be on a certain time and a certain date on the show. And I have to abide by that. So the musicians of the artists, independent artists, are priority to put them on the show first.
Mm-hmm. So why should a kid in school right now think about growing up and becoming a radio station manager?
Well, it takes dedication. It takes persistence. And technically, you are married to the station. If you want it to go somewhere, it's not. Don't think of it as a hobby unless you just want it to go on and off, like at bedtime. But this is a 24-hour station, 365. So it's constantly on the air. And the only thing, the exception is, of course, if power goes out or sometimes you get network problems beyond my control. Internet goes down somewhere in the network. You can't control that. But if it takes a lot of work and persistence. I had students that asked me about that from the colleges that I engineered at a local college here that they wanted to do a radio station like you asked. So what I told them is that, after I told them and explained it, they said, well, that's too much work, too much technology, too much work. But I gave them an alternative. If you have a radio show, why don't you just record your radio shows and then send them to me, and you don't have to worry about owning a station. They'll be on my station on a timely basis, and we can go from there. So you don't have to worry about being tied down and being on a radio station all the time.
It's pretty smart. Did they agree with it?
Some did. One person did. But you see, the problem is they get excited right away, but not knowing what's involved in a radio station as far as the upkeep. Think of it as like, okay, when you buy a car, you got to maintain it. So you got to change the oil and stuff like that. Well, same thing in a radio station. You got to maintain it. It's not going to run itself. So if you don't maintain it, things can break. And if you don't take care of it, other things can break. So you got more work to take care of to correct it. But a student, after the while, they were sending me the radio shows on a timely basis, but then, of course, they were collegiate students, and they had their homeworks to do and all that, so they kind of slacking off. They didn't realize producing a show themselves was a lot of work. So the problem with students is that they think it's a good idea until they actually get their feet wet and learning that it's too much work for them to handle. So they never realize what it is until they jump into it.
Now, my dad says that you have other voices or people that help you on your shows. Now, can you show me what he means by that?
Well, I've got several. My main man is JW. He's the one that comes on Thursdays. And we also have, on Wednesdays, I have Buzz Buster. He's a little guy. He does the country western. And then Old Man Winters is my Thursday co-host where he likes rock and roll. He likes rock and roll, even though he's Old Man Winters, but he helps me with the shows and all that. And of course, I do mimic other celebrities. If you want to hear one of them, I'll be happy to do one for you.
Ooh,
Are you a Family Guy fan?
I love Family Guy.
You like Family Guy? You know Herbert? You like Herbert? Hey, little fella, why don't you come on down here?
That's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty decent.
Yeah, well, I use him sometimes. Of course, my wife, she doesn't want me to do that during Halloween with the kids around and all that. You understand it. So the mother's coming down here and says, hey, stay away from that man. You don't want anything to do with him. So that's one of them. And I've got over 20 of them, Yogi Bear, Scooby-Doo, you name it.
Huh. So what is this I hear about designing a vehicle disabling system?
Oh, yeah. I had a business back then, thinking that I could go out on location. Now, this is before a lot of stereo shops were installing vehicle systems. I went to one and he said, well, we don't want to be liable if somebody steals or anything. But then after a while, they got into it. And so I started designing my own vehicle security systems where I would, go on location and install the systems to the customer. I could do them at the work, at home, wherever. And they would, I charge a very fair price for it. And I just move on to another vehicle. And it was my own design of the vehicle security systems that no one's ever heard of. Nowadays, if you buy a car now, the vehicle systems are already built in and so forth. So it's hard to sell something that's already factory made. So, sales on that kind of went down a little bit. Sometimes I get some people that want my system because my system works a lot different than a factory system, because factory system is just a basic. This one is a little bit better. It's more of like an immobilizer, for the vehicles. But nowadays, they come already pre-assembled from the factory.
So what is one cool fact about being a station manager that kids might not know?
Might not know? Read people. You got to understand people. Being a station manager, you got to read people of all types. Communication is a key factor. You got to communicate with people, know what they want. And I get a lot of people requests and so forth that ask me a lot of questions about the station. And some that never had, I have one artist that was a youngster that never was read a first song and wanted to know how to do it. But all we do is put the song on the air. We're not their managers or anything. They're responsible as far as letting other people know that'll be on the station. But all we do is we'll put it on the station, and after the station airs, it goes on the social media, all the social media platforms where people can listen to the shows. But we are not a station. We're not a promoter of certain individuals. We just play the music. It's up to the people to listen to them and can research, because we always say listen to them in different audio platforms like Spotify or whatever, if they're available. And it's up to the public to actually investigate who the people are. But what's good about it is that after the podcast, they go to the podcast page and the person's name is on there. So they can actually look at the person's name of who they are, and they can research who that artist is.
So, Norbert, what's the most misunderstood part about your work?
Misunderstood?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I'm one misunderstood person. Growing up, I'm always misunderstood. My sense of humor. My intellect is pretty witty. It's very sharp. Sometimes I'll make a smart joke, and I had some person that did not understand just went over their head, zoom, and it's just sometimes I'm very humorous. I'm very spontaneous and very witty, but I'm very sharp in my wit.
So, how do you think the job of running a radio station will change in the future?
Well, now with the fact of AI is in the picture, I use that as a companion, not like as a replacement, because as I got over 20 voices to my repertoire, so I don't need that. But there are other voices that I could use. For example, I went to a nightclub yesterday, and there was a girl, the bartender. I says, "Hey, I'm with KINT Radio. You mind if I record your voice?" And then I can manipulate her voice and use it for an hourly ID, and I got her permission to do so. So I can make your voice sound just like you are, even though you never did say anything on a microphone.
What?
You're speechless, huh?
Okay.
So,
Well,
I got your voice. Don't worry. I got your voice on all the shows and all that. If I wanted to, I can manipulate your voice. So that's not a problem.
Okay. Dang. That's crazy.
You didn't expect that, did you?
So, who can you say has helped or inspired you the most along your journey of being a radio station manager?
Who inspired me to get, as far as actually my brother, really. He's the one that got me into the business by taking me to the station way back when I was a kid. And that inspired me to get into radio. I got my license, for FCC license, but today everything's gone automation. So the thrill of radio stations, the reason I also got in engineering to repair in radio stations is that anybody can spin a record, talk on a microphone, but it takes a special skill to fix a turntable, fix a cart machine, fix reel-to-reel machines, and you need special skills to know what you're doing for alignments, doing balanced tone arm checks on the turntables. So you need somebody, I could walk in a station back in the day and say, hey, I'm an engineer, we got broken. So I can fix that stuff. But nowadays with computerization, there are no turntables practically. My station has turntables. I got wall-to-wall vinyl, and on the I don't know if you've seen the 7-inch records with the hole in the middle. The 7-inch records, the 45 RPMs, and the 33 1/3 album vinyls. I got wall-to-wall of that stuff, and so I'm archiving all that stuff on digital. So, but like I said, it's a never-ending journey.
So, what is the best advice that you've ever received, and who gave you that advice?
Don't go into radio. No, I never did stick to that advice. Actually, I also forgot to mention in my repertoire is that I also had a mobile DJ service. You didn't know that, did you? So I had a mobile DJ service for the longest time, providing music on location. So it was very lucrative at the time. Again, it kind of fizzled out. It was good for I had it for almost 25 years or so, but with technology the way it is, whenever I try to sell a contract to a customer, if it's a ballroom, most of the ballrooms have their own built-in DJ systems and all that, so they're kind of cutting into our profits and all that. So, but for the longest time, when we were just spinning records, and then I was one of the first ones who went from records. I didn't go to CDs. I cut CDs and converted them into tapes, cassette tapes, but the tapes were they're like 5 minutes each or 10 minutes each, and each one a song on each tape. They made tapes that way and ordered them by the gross. So when I got the tapes, I recorded each song on the tape. They're already queued up, and then the flip side, I had an inventory list. So if there's another same artist for the flip side, I could put that same artist at a different song on the flip side, and it was pretty good. But I went from records to tapes, and now I was one of the first forerunners on computerization and sending myself out to the ballrooms and setting up a computer. People thought I was setting up an office. They saw like a computer laptop, not a laptop. They didn't have laptops. It was just like a regular desktop PC, and 2 of them. And I had a mixer to mix all the music and all that. And people were wondering, I had more people around me want to know what I'm doing rather than people on the dance floor. So they've never seen anything like that. So I'm one of the forerunners of the computerization on the music, because laptops didn't have the sound cards that they have today. Because I tried one on a laptop, it sounded like a little transistor radio, too tinny and all that, so it didn't sound right. But now, the sound cards got better, and laptops, I've seen DJs now with, laptops at the DJs. Before there was none. I took the PCs there because the laptops were not available like they are today.
So what message do you want to tell children all over the world about doing the work that you do?
Well, you have to do research. Do a lot of research. Find out what you want to do. And if you're going to go into radio business, do a lot of research and find out the pitfalls and see if you can handle pressures of, things will go wrong, not when, when they go wrong. And I had my shares all the time, but I still keeping the station running all these years, but always be prepared for the unexpected. That's what I have to say.
Well, on that note, let's take a quick break to pay some bills.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. The These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about custom designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius
sent you.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
And we are back here with Norbert Miles, station manager, sound engineer, and show host. So it looks like you do, a ton of jobs. I mean, station manager, sound engineer, you have to get up so early and work so hard. Is it really worth it?
The results, people, I get so many recommendations. I have alignment.com. They get a lot of recommendations, over 200, maybe 300 recommendations on me. People heard of the shows. They like what I'm doing, and especially the artists that send me their music like the shows, and especially people listen to. They have certain people that have certain personalities that they like. Wednesdays I have people that like Little Buzz when he comes on the show. Old Man Winters is also another favorite, and then Jay, he's also a good. Jay is more like a ladies' man. He's not married, but he has respect for the ladies, so he knows how to treat a lady. So, and then we have Chuco. He's more of a Mexican Hispanic that comes on the show. That once in a while he's not in the payroll, but he comes in once in a while whenever there's a Spanish song or a song that has little Latin tones on it. He'll come in and help spin it for us and tell us all about it.
So, now my hard part for running my show is raising money. How do you monetize your content, and what would someone like me want to do in order to increase sponsorships and find other forms of monetization?
Well, monetization is, there's different levels on our monetization setup because, for example, if someone had a business and they want to be on our station, there's a flat fee, a yearly flat fee that they can pay where they don't have to pay per commercial. And they get perks out of that. They get their own webpage. We'll sign them up a webpage. So in that, they can give out business cards and put that page on there, and it's on our site, and it has all the pictures of their business, their wares, their logo, and all that on that business page. And so we have also different levels of services. If you just have like a bazaar coming and it's not a constant business, then we'll be happy to do a PSA, which is no charge. But for someone that for profit, we'll charge a low fee to produce the commercial and put it out, and we'll put it on the podcast page, and they can just click on it and listen to that spot without paying a yearly fee on that. There's different fees. There's also one for the hourly news program. There's a fee for that too. If someone wants their business mentioned on the fee, we can put that on there. Now, here's the good part. During the show, we incorporate a sponsor that goes along with the show. For example, Wednesday, there's one, his name's Big Bob, and he is big. So Big Bob, we're in the middle of a show, and then you hear the door opens, he interrupts us, and then starts talking about a new concept or a new product or a computer company, and he'll start talking about it and so forth. And then we incorporate that with the show. We don't just spin a commercial. We incorporate a commercial with our routine so that people can understand. And then it's a comedy skit. So we do that all the time. So that's a unique way how we do advertising. Not just play the commercial and let it run. We just incorporate something where, and the audience applauds for that too. So what better way is to have a business with an audience participation applauding their product, which gives more like, a support for that.
Now I hear
we think outside the box. Huh?
Now I hear that you're going to be picking up another show my dad is producing. Can you tell me about it?
Well, the third, is you're talking about the third one, or That one's already been airing. That was it's on Thursdays. It's already been airing, and on the program guide there's a logo there for airing it. I think it's at 6:30 to 7, and that's already been airing. So as soon as he sends me the information, it's already going to be sent up for the servers.
Well, Third Side Convo is about politics, and even I was a panelist on the show. It's a 2v2 type argument / debate where you try to agree on a subject like book banning and social media. I know that's a great one. We've done a portion once, and that one we had a different host for because that one was a bit tough to say. But if you had to do a different job, what would you want it to be?
Are you talking about relating to radio or what?
Just a different job.
I never thought of that. I mean, electronics has been in my blood. I've been a technician, engineer, repaired two-way radios, police radios, public utility radios. The sky's the limit. So I have a technical background of repairing equipment as well as doing sales. I'm a jack of all trades, you know. I'm an engineer as far as program director, an IT guy, janitor if necessary, if I've got to clean the restrooms myself. But I do everything as far as the radio. So I don't think there was anything else I would rather do but to just stick to my guns. I'm always thinking outside the box. Being creative and coming up with different things. That's why corporate radio, you're always restricted with their ways and rules and all that. And I am corporate radio, so I have everything I do is my creative concept.
So Norbert, what was that one thing that happened in your career that you did not expect?
We went off the air because of a power outage. That was unexpected. So we had to rely on a backup show. And we just had to apologize to the people on social media. They're expecting a new update show, and we'll just try to either make a makeup or just tell them for the next week that we'll put on social media that there won't be a new show due to the fact that it was beyond our that we could do anything about it. So things happen. So beyond our way of doing things, things happen. Power goes down. The network goes down. Things happen, and sometimes country music is really difficult because we have a affiliate called Prime Country USA, and it comes in on top of the hour, and we have to be out by 55 after, which is close to 7 o'clock Mountain Time. If we don't, it steps on us and it cuts us off. So I got to time it just right. We have a thought for the day that we give the people, to think about. It's a comedy thing, and we kind of time it in. And we have an outro tag that we will attach to it to buy some time. But once it hits the top of the hour, the guy, Chris Birmingham, is the host, will start stepping all over it. So we try to time it in there. And sometimes I forget, and it just starts right away. And then we all look at each other like, what's going on? We have to end the show right there.
Well, if you could go back in time and give your 14-year-old self advice, what would it be?
Oh, back in time. Find out what you want to do. If something piques your interest, stick to it, research it, and if you really like it, research some more and see if that's what you want to do, and get other people's opinions, or find someone that's in the same business as you that you want to go into, and pick their brain. And the knowledge is free. And if they want to talk about it, just go ahead and compare notes mentally and just see where you would stand on that and perfect your persona, see how you stand out. And the only way to do that is be yourself, be someone different. Don't try to copy somebody else. That's why with our station, we're out in left field. We don't compete with other people. We are stand on our own. We have our own little category. So we like to be different, think outside the box, and be entirely. That's why a lot of listeners listen to the podcast, because anything goes on the podcast. I mean, we ad lib to anything, even with the audience. Anything could go, and it's crazy. It just gets crazy for the whole hour, and it goes by pretty quick before you know it.
Now, what was the biggest mistake that you've ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
Biggest mistake? Oh, I never thought of that. But radio, they're full of mistakes. You just try to correct any irregularities or mistakes. I mean, we're always making mistakes all the time. But what we do is that we incorporate the mistake into the show. So we like, for example, if the timing's off or something's off, or they actually, and it happens, they play the wrong file, and that's a mistake. We says we meant to do that. Like Pee Wee Herman says, I meant to do that. So that you would incorporate that. So yeah, that's what we do. The mistakes happen. We're human, but we applaud with them, and we just make fun of it, and it's part of the show. And then when in the recording, we don't even have to edit that out. We let the recording play it along with it because that's part of the joke. But it was not planned. It just happens that way. Sometimes mistakes happen for a good reason, and it's part of the show and makes it funny that way.
So, what do you do for fun when you're not working?
That's a good question. Somebody asked me that, what I do for fun. Well, music is in my blood, and when I'm not working here, I'm on the road, I would listen to other stations, see what they do, listen to their personalities, see what shows they have, and I kind of make comparisons. And then when I'm coming back, I start making notations. They may trigger something, brainstorm something that I may write down, and I can use it later and curtail it to make something that I can relate to. Something that something might pop into my mind, and I do a lot of dreaming. So I do when I'm asleep, well, maybe like 3 or 4 hours. I wake up with an idea, I write it down, because knowing you, if you dream something and you say, oh, I'll remember when I get up, you'll forget it. You'll forget what you dreamt of. So I write things down on a paper, right on my book, right next to the bed. That way I won't forget. And that's how I get more enthusiastic for that to perform. People don't expect whatever's going to happen on that show.
So, do you play video games? And if you do, what's your favorite one?
Well, I used to play video games back in the day. Pac-Man was one of them. You used a lot of quarters on that one. But nowadays, with telephones the way they are, I do some scramble word games, and I have a little pool game in there on my phone to keep my mind occupied, keep going, and keeps my and then the words where I try to scramble the words and trying to make words out of it. It keeps my mind occupied to keep things going, keeps my sanity in check. So sometimes I wonder about that too.
Okay. So now what's your favorite book to read?
Believe it or not, electronic books. I read a lot of electronic. The reason is I like to keep update on the latest technology. Whatever's going on in the world, in the music. Of course, the books is online now, so they send me stuff of what's happening in the world in technology, and then I'll research it, and I might, if it's in my ballpark, I might look into it, see if it could benefit for my station, if I could use it. But book-wise, anything electronical, that's what I use. I'll just go ahead and I'll type in something electronic and whatever I'm looking for. It could be on Amazon or something like that. So that's merely my forte.
Okay. Now, can you tell me that one story? Remember, this is a kid show. But that one story, well, that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on, you can tell me.
Well, if I'm not supposed to tell you, it's going to be on this radio show or this TV show too. So,
I mean,
I really don't.
I won't tell anyone. I won't.
You won't. Well, we were doing a live show one time, and somebody let one out real loud. And then it was unexpected, and I blame it on the other show. There's a guy named Alan. He's the producer up there. AI producer, you want to say it. But anyway, we blame it on him. And it says, ooh, Alan, open up a window or something, man. Jesus. That's what happens. It happens. And we're laughing a lot, and anything can go. Anything happens.
Now, is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you and what you do?
Well, listen to the podcast. The podcast is what tells the whole story of the station. I mean, you can listen to live radio on the station and listen to different songs and find out what different type of songs There's some songs that other people that never heard of, but then maybe they heard of a song, but it's by a different artist that they never heard before. We get a lot of that and say, hey, I heard the song. It wasn't by this person, but it was by this other person. Who was it? And, there's a lot of cover songs that a lot of well-known artists have done that other people never realized they'd done it in the first place.
So, do you have a Facebook or website for my listeners who want to follow you?
Oh, sure. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, now X. Just type in Kent 98 Radio and it'll take you to our page, Kent98.com. Kent98.com is our web page, so just go to that and you'll go to the front page. The left side has all the icons, the menus. There's product services. There's a podcast at the top, and I'm also a member of the Society of Broadcast Engineers, where we meet every month. So talk about engineering issues and stuff like that. So I'm also work with UTEP Athletics. I also work with their athletic department, where they hire me to do the football games, collegiate football games. That's broadcasted sometimes on ESPN, CBS Sports, whatever. But they hire me to do the football games on the road when football season starts. And so I'm, like I said, a jack of all trades when I go on the road, wherever they send us, for the collegiate football games.
So what is the one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
I think we probably have covered it all, other than of the other voices. But other than that, I'll be happy to do any voices if you have the time. It's no problem.
Plenty of time, so please go on ahead.
JW. Hello, baby. Man, how you doing, Tiberius? You're my man, man. I like to listen to your show, baby. That's JW. And then Old Man Winters, he's a favorite. Old Man Winters here, and I like this young fella. Tiberius, remember your younger days. And we have Buzz Buster. He's a real redneck guy. Yeah, hello, how you doing? Salute. I'm from Bud Tussle, Tennessee. Buzz Buster. And of course, Yogi Bear. Hey, it's Yogi Bear. How you doing, Tiberius? There's plenty more.
Well, thank you so much, Norbert, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Stick around? Sure.
Aw, Dad, my computer's slow again and I can't play my games.
Call Your Computer Solutions today, and we will scan for viruses and clean that computer up remotely and make it fast again. Our phone number is 407-826-0810.
Thanks, Dad. My computer's fast again. Now I can do my homework. Thanks for calling Your Computer Solutions at 407-826-0810.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
And now it's time for Math Corners. Thank you so much, Norbert, for helping me with Math Corners. And this week, we're going to solve multi-step word problems. My dad is always good at finding problems for me to solve. And today, we're going to talk about programming a radio station. Ooh. So DJ Max is planning a 16-hour broadcast schedule for his radio station. Each talk show is 30 minutes long, and each music block is 45 minutes long. DJ Max wants to include in the schedule to fill the entire 16 hours exactly. And DJ Max wants to include twice as many music blocks as talk shows. So how many talk shows and how many music blocks should DJ Max schedule?
Well, I'm going to have to pass that on to Jay. What do you think? Well, let me see, man. I'm not that good in math, but let me see. First, you have to determine the total amount of minutes you are in charge of programming. So 16 hours times 60 minutes. Let's see, do the math here. 960 minutes. That was easy. And let's see what else. But now comes the hard part. Since he wants twice as many music blocks as a show and can make, let's see, X number of shows and 2 times the number of music blocks. Since the shows plus minus music blocks equals the entire time, you have to put the figure out to the time per year. No, not time per year. That's an X, man. Who told me how to read? Anyway, the talk shows are 30 time minutes and music blocks are 45 times 2 or 90 time minutes. Now add the two shows together, you get 120. Which is equals 960 minutes, man. Are you following me? I'm going too fast for you. Okay, let's see. Now you just divide the 120 to put X by itself, and you get X equals 8. And since X is about talk shows, you get about 8 talk shows, or 2X, or 16 music blocks. Am I in the ballpark area or what?
Yeah, you are.
All right. All right,
So-
Jay, music, give me a high five. There, thank you.
So Norbert, do you have to figure out how many minutes per show and music blocks for your programming, or do you also have to figure out for commercials as well?
On the podcasts, are you talking about the podcasts? The live podcasts of the program, we have, it depends. If there might be a sponsor that wants to sponsor the whole show, so we'll put in that amount for that person. But like I said, we might incorporate a walk-in from Big Bob about that podcast, about that person. So it's incorporated in there. So the minutes, it could be a 2-minute mention or whatever, but the audience is enjoying all this and they're laughing because, we're doing stuff that we're improvising everything, and you never know what's going to happen. But 2 minutes flies by real quick. Before you know it, they didn't realize it was a commercial anyway. And we give them the information, how they want to contact the person. Go ahead and then get the information from them, or go to the website. They can look it up.
Well, my teacher said that I would use math every single day. How do you use math with your work?
Math in my work? Well, I got to be honest. I got to be on time to get out at 55 after, because there are other commercials or whatever to fill in at the top of the hour. But sometimes we go at 55 because sometimes the show might go overtime, but not on Wednesdays because we'll get cut off. But Monday, Tuesdays, Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays, if the show goes overtime, maybe by like a minute or two, we won't get cut off. But at least it's within that 1 hour mark. So we figure that time limit in the show. Part of the show, so we don't know how long the time limit is, as long as we stay within that 55-minute limit.
Well, thank you so much, Norbert, for your help with Math Corners. And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the heart of a lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and ability. This week, we're going to talk about obedience. For me, I think obedience is being fully committed to doing what is pleasing to God. The qualities of obedience are compliance with a good attitude and respect for the laws. You know when someone's being obedient when they follow instructions willingly and thoroughly. Well, in science class the other day, we were doing a lab, where we were using baking soda and vinegar, and you know how that works out, right? Teacher told us to be careful and only use small amounts, but Ryan, who always tries to be funny, didn't really listen. He dumped a whole bunch of vinegar into the container, and even after our teacher said not to, the mixture, kind of exploded everywhere. Foam flew up, spilled off the table, and even hit some kids nearby. It hit me too. But you know what? The teacher got really, really mad, because that's kind of what people do when you kind of, make them a little bit frustrated. But Ryan had to clean up the entire whole mess by himself during lunch. So you kind of don't want to do that. That kind of makes me realize that ignoring rules can lead to way more trouble than it's worth. So, Norbert, did you see or use obedience at all this week?
Well, it's funny you should say about the baking soda and what was it, vinegar? Is that what you said? Yeah, well, when that happened, I did the crying lion thing. Put it up. I have to clean it up. So that's what happens. So I have to clean up the whole mess.
Well, of all of the Heart of the Lion virtues, which is the one that you see the most?
Obedience, I guess. In the lion virtues, obedience. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Well, we should always try to be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Yes. Respect those virtues is what I'm saying. Respect those virtues of the lion. Because if you don't, he'll bite you.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Norbert Miles for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking to you today. I think we learned a lot about your work as the station manager of KINT 98 of El Paso, Texas.
Thank you.
No problem. Do you mind giving your social media and website again?
Okay, www.kint98, the number 98.com. And then on all the other social medias, just type in and search KINT 98 Radio, and you'll find it. KINT98.com.
Well, also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show, and I would like to thank WWPR 1490 AM, KINT 98, Soul Radio 24/7, EasyWay TV, and all the other stations that air on my show. And please be sure to visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Norbert, are you subscribed yet?
I hope I am. I talked to Jerry. He's subscribed. I'm working on it. Don't push me. Okay, he's working on it.
Okay. Well, and be sure to leave me a comment if you want to run your own radio station. I answer all the comments myself. And also, be sure to listen to us next week on the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy. That's a wrap.